Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope I am audible. You can all hear me right now. And welcome to today's session. My name is Adam. I am privileged to host you all today. And of course, for those of us who are new, I am the programs associate at Liberty Sparks. And I've been your home the very first episode to now that we are on the very second last episode of this program. And so today we are looking at the Broken Promises, Broken Windows episode, and we are going to be having Arthur Odong speak to us about the broken fallacy. And if you are here, I believe you are not new. If you are new to the program, you know what the drill is. Just drop your name and your location on the chat box. And of course, I will be marking the register, and I am dropping the attendance form just right now. I am dropping the attendance form just right now. It is dropped. Our secret word or secret code for the day is promises. Our secret word for the day is promises. Welcome to today's session. We start as usual with 15 minutes of watching the episode that we are going to be basing our talk today or our entire lessons on today. And I hope you are all ready as we start right now.
Previously on Jonathan Gullible.
Excuse me, does anyone know we're blocking? We need a new strategy, Mysis.
Hey, kid. I'll pay you 5 canes to help me load this into the wagon.
What is it?
It's the dream machine. People don't know how to make dreams come true, you see? This tells them. Round here's a lot of factories. Over there is Bastiat Builders, where they used to manufacture nails. After they listened to my machine, those dreamers stormed down to the Palace of Lords and demanded laws, insurance for sickness, insurance for unemployment, insurance for death, right? The factory couldn't earn enough to pay the workers, so they shut down, and they blamed me and my dream machine.
You're a swindler!
Shh! Hiya! And thanks for the help!
Huh?
How do you do? Isn't it a fine day? I'm Lady Bess Tweed, your friendly neighborhood representative on the Council of Lords, and I would be most grateful to have your contribution and your vote for my re-election.
Re-election?
And I am willing to pay you well. Oh yes, I am willing to pay you.
What?
You can't ask for a better deal. And how about that?
Pay? For my vote?
Of course, I can't give you cash for your vote. That would be illegal. A bribe. Say no more. Say no more. But I can give you something just as good as cash. A few bills in my palm right now, and I can write some bills of my own in the council for you. A gusher of goodies. That's what I'll do. And how about that?
Oh, that could be nice.
What's your occupation? I can arrange assistance, loans or licenses, or subsidies, or tax breaks. I can ruin your competitors with rules and regulations and inspections and fees.
Competitors?
Of course. Say you're a taxi carriage owner, like our narratively convenient friend, Bickle.
You talking to me?
Yes, Bickle, I'm talking to you. Tell this boy what I did for you and the other taxi owners.
She passed a law that limits the number of taxi owners, see? And outlawed ride sharing. Now, I got half the city waiting on my rides, and I charge twice as much.
Okay, you can leave the narrative now, Bickle.
Anytime, anywhere.
Huh?
Oh, don't worry about it. The important thing is, I saved the licensed taxi owners.
But wouldn't it be better if people could ride share? Or if there were more taxi drivers, so people didn't wait as long?
For most people, yes. But not for Bickle and the other campaign-contributing taxi owners in town. So you can see, there is no better investment in the world than a well-placed politician. What do you think? Playing hard to get, huh? I respect that. Perhaps you'd like a new road or a park built in your neighborhood. Or maybe a large building, or...
Wait, how can you reward me for more than I give you? Are you that rich and generous?
Rich? Me? Saints and bullfrogs, no. Not that I will admit. I'm just a humble public servant. You could call me generous, but I don't plan to pay you with my own money. I'm in charge of a number of public funds. I can be very generous with those funds. To the right people.
So you're buying my vote with other people's money. That still sounds like bribery.
I'll be blunt with you, my dear boy. It is bribery, but it's legal if I favor you with taxpayer money. You can pay me a large sum as a public speaker, or give money as campaign contributions. Or maybe you'd like to purchase some of my kids' artwork. Totally unrelated to the political favors I will give you. I've been told they're actually quite good for his age.
Thank you, Mom.
But don't other people get upset when you use their money to buy votes, favors, and power?
Sure, and I hear their concerns. But I've become the champion of reform. And since I penned the reforms, I know how to get around them.
Let's burn it all down!
Oh, heavens! I got so caught up with you, and I'm late for the show. Never let a good riot go to waste.
Oh,
You mind? I'm sitting here.
sorry.
Everybody's real sorry. We deserve our jobs back.
Yeah, how are we supposed to make a living wage now that the factories are all moving an eye?
Fair laborers of Bastiat builders, for too long you've toiled and worked for lower wages than is your right, making these oh so essential nails. And now the factory owners have the audacity to close down just because they can't make a profit anymore.
Those dirty scabs in Nye took our jobs.
Sully, looks like we got some rabble-rousing.
I love it when they rouse the rabbles. Can I bash in some heads, Moss?
That's your problem, Sully. You always go straight to bashing heads instead of trying to figure out what's inside them.
Inside them? You mean like bones and goo?
No, Sully. I mean their thoughts. If you always bash heads, you'll never learn how to control what they think. Using aggressive and violent re-education, we virtue keepers can one day eradicate all transgressions before they can even enter the mind.
But I still get to bash heads if it becomes a riot, right?
Yes, Sully. You can bash heads if they riot.
Rabbler rouses.
And those greedy factory owners should be punished.
Huh?
Down with the factory owners!
Give us back our jobs!
Whoa!
Don't worry, dear Virtue Keepers. This protester has done us all a great service.
Explain, Councilwoman. This riot is disturbing the peace and destroying property.
Quite the contrary. This protest is vital. Don't you see what a great thing he's done?
It's okay to break windows?
Better than that. It's your duty. With each stone and broken window, the glassmaker will have a new order for a window, a new job for a worker, and a new demand for tools. Each worker will have more canes to spend on shoes for his children. That's more jobs for shoemakers, and the shoemakers will have more to spend on leather and stitching, and so on in a big, beautiful circle.
So, by destroying, this woman has created.
Now you get it. Go ahead, it's okay. Pick up a rock, everyone.
Whoa!
Destruction is production.
Break the windows!
Save our economy! Save our economy! Rocks, stones, temples, get the rocks here! Extra rocky!
Hey, ain't you gonna throw some rocks?
What, me?
What's the matter with you?
It's your civic duty to destroy those windows.
Our hero!
Huh? Hey! Whoa!
You ain't a deviant, is ya?
Leave the boy alone, Virtue Keepers. He's with me.
Hey, there's a bunch more windows downtown. Let's go!
Skip the big White House on Main Street, won't you? That one's mine. We can't have our leaders' homes cold and drafty.
It's a bold thing to correct Virtue Keepers in front of a crowd, even for a councilwoman. Things like that might breed deviance.
Is it not bolder to threaten a sitting council member? I'll remind you that Virtue Keepers serve at the Council of Lords' behest. Perhaps even Virtue Keepers are in need of some of their own re-education programs?
Sully.
Hey.
Whoa!
Very good, Virtue Keepers. You'd best stay with the crowd in case they meet resistance in their protests.
Okay, yeah.
We've got our eye on you, kid.
What about the prisoner?
Let's go.
Brutes. Thank you. I thought they were gonna arrest me.
You'd be lucky if that's all they did. I can see you're a kid who doesn't follow the pack. Get you some elevated shoes, a stylish haircut, and the proper fiancé. With your innocent looks and the right backing from me, you could go far in politics. What's your name, boy?
Jonathan Gullible, ma'am.
I'll remember you, Jonathan Gullible. You've got potential, but potential can be dangerous. I reward friends and punish enemies. Understand me?
Yes, ma'am.
Look me up at the Palace of Lords, and I'll see what we can do with you.
Hey,
Huh?
you dropped this.
Where'd you get this old thing?
My, friend gave it to me. I'm trying to find him.
Block A. Meekener, huh?
Didn't think there was any Meekeners left. Bad luck touching them old machines, people say. Here you go.
Thanks. I thought you were.
Going to steal it?
Oh,
It's okay. I know how I look. The folks I used to work with at the factories don't recognize me anymore either. Incidentally, if you're looking for your friend, Block A is that way. They miss the unseen. Oh, what I could have done instead of replacing all those windows in my factory.
Huh?
I appreciate it, son, but I ain't a beggar.
It's not charity. You found my compass. And my friend.
Well, what are you waiting for? Go find that girl.
I didn't say she was a girl.
It usually is. Now, get going. Back in business.
Thanks.
Believe we've had and we've watched it. Now it is time to bring up our speaker who's going to give us some powerful session that is going to be linked to this. And allow me to bring up Odong Arthur, who is the co-founder of Afodi in Uganda. He is an entrepreneur, a writer, a speaker, and a trainer, as well as an alumni of Students for Liberty. He is passionate about trade and free markets and actively engages in advancing ideas of economic freedom and individual liberty. His work emphasizes empowering young people and entrepreneurs to embrace personal responsibility and free enterprise as paths to prosperity. If you can hear me, this is your time to shine.
Thanks very much, Shem. Thanks very much, Liberty Sparks. Let me hope I'm being heard clearly and well. As I've been invited to come and dive into the session, I want to appreciate the Liberty Sparks team for putting all this together and for sharing the good insights on these ideas of free markets. Quickly, let me share my screen. And then we get going so that it enables and makes it quicker for us to follow on point. Well, okay, not to waste a lot of time, let me just start with the session. Our session today is about the broken window fallacy, and it's a philosophical embroidery, just as the video that has been shown. It's a philosophical video that shows different economic fabrics that are so much relevant and necessary in the operation of our economy and also our entrepreneurship world. So much so that, yes, please.
Just sorry for interrupting. If you're sharing your screen, we can't see it.
Oh, really? Let me see. Can you see it?
Just a minute. Yes, I
My
think it
end
should.
shows.
Yes, it should be up now.
Okay. Well,
Well,
so I can continue, right?
well,
Hello?
it keeps sharing and dropping.
Could it be from my end?
Yes. If you could just share your screen and then press Control, Alt, and Tab.
Okay. Let me get there.
Just share your screen first.
Yeah, yeah, yes, done that.
Once
Are we good now?
just a minute, let me bring it. There seems to be an issue. I think it's at your device. Maybe unshare your screen first.
I unshare.
Just unshare.
Done so.
Okay. After you've unshared, just go back to your presentation.
Yes, please.
And then click on the slide share. Just click on the slides where now you can be able to the slideshow. Sorry.
Yes, please.
And then now press Control Alt and Tab.
Yes.
It should be able to get you back to the screen for this studio that we are using for the webinar, right?
Yes.
Now share your screen from there, so that you are able to share the exact slide, the slideshow.
Okay, we are good now.
Waiting for it to come up.
Not yet, because I'm sharing from my end.
Just a minute. Okay, you should be good to go now. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, sorry for the glitch. And yeah, on a quick one, just to continue from the yet completed video session, hoping we have watched it over and over. Just a short storyline that is philosophical and economical in nature, trying to describe the different entrepreneurial behaviors in the market, where politicians and the age of consumers and entrepreneurs are all in one interface. So we saw a lot of distraction, and then it was justified for creating jobs and a lot of that. And that's why it comes out to the front line of the broken window fallacy. Shem, just to reconfirm, is my screen flowing as I flow?
This.
Okay, well, now quickly, I want us to debunk and pick it up from the seen and the unseen spending in economics. Just getting it from the insights that we got in the video, you'll have to understand that there was the seen economics that was justified by the politicians and the rioters, and that was via the distraction. And it looked sensible in a way that it sounded to be factual, because it was seen, it was well explanatory, and that is what largely happens into the market. But the unfortunate part is this is a forced spending, because some spending was already done on the same product, and now it was being forced onto the entrepreneur. As a matter of fact, you'll come to understand that sometimes in our African societies, it also does happen with our government programs, that government does spend on programs with a claim that it is creating jobs. A case in point is in Uganda. At times the government ends up creating districts, new districts, and yet new districts with new heads of the districts and the likes. All those people have to be paid salary, and the government justifies it as creating jobs. Yet logically, we do understand that the more districts created, the more taxes governments will need to facilitate that district. So the seen part of it is creating the districts, which logically is disastrous to the economy. But the unseen part is that the cost of living in a particular district is going to increase, yet the earnings of the people in a particular district is not really going to increase. Now that brings us back to the video, that you'll find that the intervention into the market with claims of protecting the market, trying to ban some importation of goods and the likes. Logically, it's a forced spending on the goods that are being freed in the market. Let me hope you understood here. A case in point is Kenya, Uganda. Let me have these clear examples, that there are instances where Kenya bans the importation of maize from Uganda. And Uganda, on the other hand, also bans the importation of maize from Kenya. Before you know, the government of Uganda will be forcing me to spend on only the maize in Uganda. Yet, Kenya's maize could have maybe been, or milk could have been cheaper in that case. Okay, let's continue. You'll have to find that in that same video, you'll come and understand that there was the unseen spending. The unseen spending, this is the voluntary spending that is visionary. Because according to that video, the owner of the factory had already put glasses, had already spent on constructing the glasses. So in their mind, their spending should have focused on innovations to create more, should have focused on actually building more opportunities and diversifying the economy. But because of the distraction, he is going to be forced to spend on already destroyed property. Yet logically, wealth is not created by distraction. Wealth is created by adding value. Now, this takes us now to the economic realities, where we have to get to economic reality that repairs only replace and do not create wealth. The justification that the politician makes in the clip shows you that, okay, when these glasses are broken, a lot of jobs will be created and the likes, but the real economic sense is repairing something does not necessarily create wealth. It only replaces wealth that was already created. So replacement does not mean appreciation. Replacement is damage control, and you cannot progress while controlling damages. So you'll have to understand that time and money is lost during replacements because the real time and efforts that were already used to establish the glasses before, we are using the glasses for now, but as we go on forward, we are going to expand it to the larger economic play in our market. But you'll have to understand that the time and efforts that were used and the money and the innovation, the labor that was used to put up the glass earlier is just going to again be wasted in replacing the glasses. So we also have to come to an economic reality that entrepreneurs have the capacity to create wealth, but they are insulted when their wealth is destroyed. Entrepreneurs do not simply replace, entrepreneurs create wealth. So creating wealth and maintaining, protecting it to appreciate is the real game of entrepreneurs. So this takes us now to understanding the seen and the unseen spending in economics. You'll have to see that the seen, which of course we might say the forced spending, is literally, oh, sorry, I have to go to the broken window fallacy in our African market. Brothers and sisters, since we're into the African space, we have to understand that the broken window fallacy largely operates in our market space. You have to understand that closed borders for high taxation of imports and exports. Countries end up closing borders simply to tax higher. And the claim of taxing higher is that government earns more revenue. And government earning more revenue by taxing higher, they claim they're creating more jobs and they're doing more development. But logically, contrary to that, you'll understand that when the government taxes imports and exports, the traders of such imports and exports impose the tax fees on the products, and the cost of the products gets higher. When the cost of the products gets higher, it is the very consumers in the particular country who are affected. Now, the seen part is the taxation and the justification of creating jobs. The seen part is creating the borders and the blocking imports and exports. But the unseen part is the cost of living that is going to be raised on a meaningless basis into the local market. And then two, there's also another broken window fallacy that operates in the African markets. That is creation of monopolies as a reward for political loyalties. A case in point is if, for example, I have a business called Business X and I support a particular government and they win. So they will create a monopoly by forcefully kicking out competitors in that particular market so that I maximize the market as a monopoly. That is the seen part. But the unseen part here is that if there are other competitors, first of all, innovation will be there because in a room where there is competition, there is always push for continuous innovation for each entity or party to be best for the market. So they will compete either cheaply, faster, or better. But when there is a monopoly, there is a little bit of contentment. That is more like forcing consumers onto a particular producer. That is also another broken window fallacy in our market space. And then the other is banning of trade, imports, and exports in the name of protectionism. This largely happened, and to a sad fact, sometimes even with the citizens support it. A case in point is in Uganda here, there is China issue, that goods from China come and outcompete the local goods. Now, for that matter, some citizens and lobbyists end up trying to agitate the government to ban the importation of these goods. Now, that is the seen part of the economics. But the unseen part of the economics is that with the importation of goods, competitive goods that come from other countries, the standards of living in a particular place will improve. There are people who are importing those goods who will sell them into the economy and pay taxes and employ other people. That is also another part of the economy. And then also there is also this unseen part that the economy does not expand by closing borders. The economy expands by opening borders and trading largely. So that is also another thing. And then another fallacy that happens in our markets today is setting of price ceilings and minimum wage. This at times is also lobbied by the citizens, where the government sets and says, let's say, the price of, let's say, fuel or petrol is going to be, let's say, 100 Uganda shillings or maybe $10 as a must. Now, some will celebrate it, but this is now the logic. When you force me to sell my product at a particular price as an entrepreneur, if the margins don't make sense for me, I will vacate that market and go somewhere else. Now, the unseen part is that when I vacate, the consumers who are benefiting from my particular product are going to lose and miss out. Now, let's look at the minimum wage. When you force me to pay a particular worker a particular amount of money, irrespective of their value or creation in the market, by you justifying it that, oh, you want to ensure job certainty or decent jobs at the expense of the entrepreneur will vacate, or the entrepreneur will fire some of the workers so that they can have few workers whom they can pay that minimum wage. And what's the deal? More people are going to lose jobs and be out of the market. Another issue here, that another fallacy, is governments attempting to tax their way into prosperity, where government thinks by taxing more, they will get more prosperous. Yet logically, by taxing more, the government gets deeper into the pockets of the citizens, and by getting deeper into the pockets of the citizens will not have the capacity to build their own economy. Another fallacy that happens in our markets that is broken, it is seen and it is justified. Somehow, even we citizens end up justifying it and see it as economic sense. But the essence here is to show us the broken window fallacy, that's broken. No matter how best it is seen and justified, it is a broken economic principle. Now we have bureaucracy in business formalization and legalization. This happens largely in many markets in Africa, where there is a lot of bureaucracy, where you have to be connected to so and so to legalize and formalize. Not knowing that if legalization is eased, many enterprises will be formal and they will have the trading potential to trade largely and pay taxes largely. So logically, those are some of the market fallacies that do happen, and they are literally broken. So let's now ponder on this. Since we are in Africa, you have to understand, why did I emphasize that the broken window fallacies are so much in practice in Africa? You'll have to understand that, let's ponder on this matter, that the African market is large and growing with a combined GDP of 3.14 trillion and a population of 1.4 billion. But the sad fact here is that as of 2013, Africa only makes 3.3% of global exports. I told you earlier that one of the broken fallacies is Africa trying to think they can close themselves. Countries thinking they can close their markets. So here the narrative, the statistics come and show that only 3.3% is what Africa achieves in the global exports. And then this means only 6% of the combined, the total GDP was traded. The total GDP of 3.14 trillion, only 6% of it was traded globally. This shows you the trade insufficiency of Africa. Not that Africa does not have the capacity to trade, but because of the broken window fallacies that are in operation in Africa that are making it trade at this below this line. Then not only that, now you'll have to understand that some green light comes in that still in the 2023, the intra-Africa trade or the African trade agreement, of course, that reached the 192 billion, representing 15% of Africa's total trade, was availed. That is the current ACFTA, and this will guide our bigger talk. Because we understand that somewhere, somehow, the window was broken and some saw it. And the important talk here is, other than knowing the broken window, we also now need to know the unseen economics and operate on that angle of the unseen economics. Because at the end of it all, we need to have sound economics for the betterment of our continent and our societies. So you'll have to understand that in the very 2023, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area was birthed. Okay? The Africa Free Continental Trade Area, the ACFTA, which in our understanding has some sense of the unseen or some sense of the economic sense and matter. So now let's get to the African Continental Free Trade Area, because this is a connected share. Now you'll get to understand that this is guided by the free market concepts that favor the unseen. Logically, in the beginning, I told you the seen and the unseen. And the seen is what we approached it, calling it the broken window fallacy. We have to counter it with the unseen. And that is what we really don't see and what we really need to give attention to. Because there are two things, there is noise and signal. The broken window fallacy is the noise. It is largely seen. You hear noise, whether you're interested or not. But with the signal, you need to pay attention and understand the details for you to get context from the signal. And the unseen economics that makes sense is the one that the free market principles that guide the Africa Continental Free Trade Area. But then now we need to understand what are these free market concepts that are actually embody the picture of the unseen market principles. Now you have to understand that the free market area, I've just brought it in a skeleton breakdown. Hopefully in further discussions, you'll get to get more, or in your further research. Now, why this has the entire embodiment of the unseen economics? Because the free market, first of all, appreciates that free individuals create value. Initially, we saw that the destruction was insulting value creation. So you'll understand that in the free market system, first of all, free individuals create value. And then in the free markets, the individuals freely exchange their value. And then through free trade, the individuals voluntarily act through free will transactions. Then after that, there is a limited government where it enforces the rule of law that protects and promotes trade. I want you to understand these important things. There is a rule of law that has to protect and promote trade. We saw very well in the beginning of the broken window fallacy, where the government entities and players, instead of protecting an individual who had created value that was still standing, because that individual has a property rights or has rights over that property, they were not protected. Now, government comes with a populist understanding that if majority are in interest of destruction, that makes economic sense in the government's angle. But we are looking at this, and we want to side largely on the unseen economic principles. That should you get an opportunity to operate in any space of leadership in your society, you need to pay attention to the unseen economic principle. That the role of the government is way more clear into that. To enforce rule of law that protects and promotes trade. Now, This is the entire skeleton scale up of the free market ladder because it's the one that premises onto the unseen. The free market ladder largely brings the beauty of the unseen. It does not appreciate or it does not give credit to distraction. It does not give credit to abusing value creators. It gives credit to appreciating individuals, and it shows you very well how more jobs are created, how more lives are made better. Because if you saw the video very well, those that came to stone the windows were claiming they had lost their jobs and they wanted to forcefully be employed. And they wanted to forcefully be reinstated on their jobs, so they stoned. But the free market system, we saw the voluntary action, where you have to act voluntarily. In exchange, if your job, your labor is of no value to the entrepreneur, then they will not hire it. That is the logic and behind it. So this is the entire scale and the ladder of the market, free market system that appreciates the unseen economic practices, which to a larger extent miss out in Africa. But we really need to see these practices here. Now, we really need to get involved as us, because most times we can see and call it, oh, this is a system, this is a fallacy. So we are exempted not until we are in positions of power or the systems to enact this. Now, first we need to understand that it's so much important that think tanks like Liberty Sparks, we so much appreciate that the mind is so much pivotal. You can't underestimate what the mind can uphold and command. So that's why we approach it from the mindset and the habits that exist in the free market. You'll have to understand that there are two mindsets that largely operate in the market. That is the above the line, that is a victor mindset. A mindset that appreciates ownership, that appreciates accountability, that appreciates proactivity. It also appreciates creation. And then there is a below the line mindset. That is the victim mindset. Is a mindset that operates on blame, excuses, denial, or being defensive, and dependence. Now, when we get back to the video, you'll have to understand that the below the line is the largely seen part. That it's very easy for people in the market to blame. It's very easy to excuse yourself by blaming someone else. It's very easy to act defensive. And it's very easy to be dependent. That is to think you're living at the expense of someone else. But above the line, that's the victor mindset, which is so much crucial. Why have I brought these two mindsets? Because they all were displayed in the video. That those who were blaming the company for losing their jobs, and they were trying to think they will create more jobs by stoning down the company. Those were the people who were operating below the line and the victim mindset. They're all in the market. Maybe me and you, one of us may be having such kind of practices where you're so much in argumentation of saying, okay, the rich should be taxed more so that they help the poor. That's a dependency mindset. You think you should depend at the expense of the rich. Okay? So now going forward, you have to understand that the above the line mindset pictures the whole unseen cycle of wealth. Because our entire session, we are interested in the unseen cycle of wealth. The one that is not seen, but it holds more value in raising the economy and raising the personal value of entrepreneurship and enterprise. Now, this cycle has largely one ownership, and ownership calls for responsibility. You need to, first of all, accept and take responsibility for you to be able to own your talent, own your skill, own your property, own your mind, own your intellect. It has to call for responsibility. After owning it, because you cannot create or add value on what you don't own. A case in point is, Liberty Sparks is a think tank. If it does not own thinkers, if it does not have thinkers within itself, it cannot tap into the potential of the thinkers to create value, such as this course, for its beneficiaries. So you have to first own some sense that an ownership calls for responsibility. Then you have to create. Of course, when you own it, then you have to create. That is, you have to appreciate it. Attach value to what you own. When you attach value to what you own, then you have to nurture it. And nurturing has more to do with protecting what you've created, then you trade and exchange it for you to scale. Now, these are the things that were largely abused in the video, in the broken window fallacy. These things are not so much largely seen. The entrepreneur who built the factory was not being seen, put into the picture. They did not see the entire chain and the toiling, the loans this entrepreneur is trying to nurse, the protection, the skill set, the research the entrepreneur puts together to keep this company alive. All these are unseen, but they are the vital parts for you to operate above the line in the market space. Then this takes me to now asking any questions, because literally I'm done with sharing. So Shem, Liberty Sparks team can come in and guide us of how we proceed. Hope I've been audible enough.
Very audible. Very awesome presentation. Thank you so much for shedding light on quite a number of things. To our audience, this is the time to ask questions, and let's have the speaker respond to them. Thank you so much, Arthur, for that wonderful presentation. Any questions? Okay, I don't see any in the comment section, so I believe, of course, just to let you know, Arthur, we are going to be following up with a few quizzes. We call them homework that we are going to be giving to the participants of this series. They're going to be quizzes that are based on the presentation shared. So, of course, if any question arises that needs you addressing, we'd gladly bring you on board to be able to share more nuggets on it. Other than that, I think this has been a wonderful session. Thank you for taking your time to come and share nuggets with us, and we hope we can continue engaging you in more of these kind of questions. But before I can dismiss you, Samudama is asking, how can the government, let me just put it on the screen so you can see it too. He's asking, how can the government ensure the projects they undertake don't disrupt people's lives in the sense of Kenya, where people are evicted to create new housing?
Okay, thanks very much for the question. And this is a matter that largely, let me hope I'm being heard. Am I being heard? Okay, let me hope I'm being heard. Well, this largely also happens in Uganda. But now, how do we approach this? First and foremost, anytime the government is undertaking a project, there is always a compensation plan. And now the government has to compensate particular people. Now, the error here comes that where the government wants to claim and let it appear like the interest of the public is more important than the private rights of an individual. Now, that's where we advocates of free markets and individual rights come in and say, no, even that particular individual who happens to be in that land has to be compensated unless otherwise. Because it's so much important that most times governments are approving such projects. In Uganda, it also does happen. There is a compensation plan. So it's not a matter of eviction. The people have to be compensated. So how can the government ensure the projects are undertaken? Government has to ensure it compensates those who are in the platforms to respect their rights to property and ownership. That is what I can give to that response. And that's why largely, if you followed Liberty Sparks so much, you'll hear them talking about aspects of like property rights and the likes. Sometimes the government itself thinks it has the best interest of the people in their hearts, yet individuals have their interests. So compensation is one of the most appropriate solution for this, so that it's a win-win. That the government project goes on, and development happens, but also the individuals whose lives are being tampered with there are compensated and they continue with their lives. So thanks very much and hope that has made sense.
Anybody that is feeling left out, that has a question that hasn't been responded to or that they want to ask, this is the time. This is the time. Okay, that's fine. I don't know if my colleagues have anything to say. Let me just. Okay. Okay. Seems like we are all in congruence with the very poignant points that you've shared today. Thank you so much for the nuggets you've shared. I hope you get to have a wonderful night in Uganda. For those of us who've joined today, of course, watch out for the assignments that are going to be shared by my colleagues, and see you guys in the next session. But before then, please remember that we are sharing the link. We're sharing the link for nominating and suggesting or maybe recommending educators, because the next phase of this program is going to be going through this similar kind of series with your lecturers, with educators. So if you know of an educator, a lecturer, a professor that would benefit so much from this kind of program, it would be ideal that you get to suggest them. Remember that most of you are going to be leaving campus soon. So it means that the nuggets that you've learned from here, you will be living with them. You will be living with them and into the society. But we need to ensure that there's continuous sharing of these kinds of messages into the campus, and that it continues to circulate. So that is why we are bringing in a section where now we can have learning moments with your educators. If you have any that you want to say, I know Miss BK or Miss Naomi Makova will be sharing those links over and over again. So please do share with them. And of course, even for you, Arthur, if you know any lecturers or educators in Uganda that would benefit from this kind of program and replicate it for a more serendipitous impact, then of course you can reach out and we can share the link with you so that you can recommend them. Moki, I think I saw your mic on and off, so if you have something, you can speak. Moki?
Yeah, I just wanted to make that announcement on the educator sessions that we have coming up, and these guys can't hear me.
Monkey, if you're speaking, your mic is off. Okay, I see. Seems there is a technical hitch on his end. So, to that point, thank you very much, everyone, for giving us your time to the past 1 hour. I believe
I hope that
you have enjoyed.
I've been trying to talk. I don't know whether I'm audible.
We can hear you now. I see. Seems there is a hitch on you. And so, okay, guys. See you in the next session. Thank you for your time, and get to see you in the next session. So the next session is next week, Friday, same time, same place, more wisdom and new speakers. Have a blessed night.